Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer. Please stand. Taka amahara ni kamuzumarimasu Yogi kamuro mino mikoto mochite Tsume miyoya kamu izanagi no mikoto Tsukushi no imuka no tachihana no Odo no ahagi hara ni Misogi hara itamu toki ni narimaseru Harai dono kamitachi moro moro no magagoto tsumike gareo Harai tamai kiyome tamai tomao sukoto no yoshio Amatsu kami kunitsu kami yaoyorozu no kami tachi tomoni Ame no fuji koma no bini furi tatete Kikoshi bese to kashi komi momakosu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hai tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hai tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hai tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hai tamae Ham nagara tamachi haimase. Ham nagara tamachi haimase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated for group Johrei. May God and Meishu-sama bless you. Meishu-sama's teaching for this evening is entitled Humanity's Mission, is on page 20 of the Daily Inspirations. God gave us life, precious life. Let us respect and treasure it by living in harmony with God's divine law. Every soul is an individual part of God's total self. Let us cleanse our souls and restore them to their divine state. One who is aware of how precious and priceless life is realizes God's divine nature within, our true spiritual essence. A human being, often called a child of God, is also referred to as God's temple. This is because a person's soul, the center of his or her being, is an individualized part of God that has come to earth with a mission assigned by God. This soul is also referred to as the primary spirit. After birth, another spirit, which is animalistic in nature, enters the body. It is called the secondary spirit. Since the primary spirit is divine in nature, it is the center of spiritual consciousness. The secondary spirit is the exact opposite, the source of all negative ideas. There is yet another spirit in contact with an individual. It is the guardian spirit. In Japan, it is selected from among the individual's ancestors at birth. From the spiritual realm, it protects and guides the person in its charge. The secondary spirit encourages the person to act wrongfully, while the guardian spirit tries to guide the person to do virtuous deeds. But above both of these is the primary spirit, which instructs the person to do only good and virtuous acts. Therefore, it is important to strengthen the power of one's primary spirit. This power is fundamental to the conquering of negativity. Each person should strive always to strengthen their primary spirit. The best way to achieve this is to pray to God and deepens one's faith. This is the only path to attain true happiness. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association. Today is Paradise on Earth, one of the most important days in our Johrei calendar. It is when Meishu-sama received the revelation that the world was going from an age of darkness to the daylight age. So today exactly, it's been 90 years. So there are this cycle of every 30 years. First cycle ended in 1961, second cycle in 1991, and now in 2021 is exactly 90 years. So this is of great significance. The world is going through so many changes. Of course, in the past year and a half, almost 2 years, with the COVID pandemic and whatnot. But Meishu-sama stated in many different teachings, while there is construction of paradise on earth, there is also destruction at the same time. Also, he gave the example for you to build a house where there is an existing structure. You may have to put the house down, and some parts of the house may be used, such as lumber, for instance, but then you have to wash the lumber, you have to polish, to level with a plane, and then reutilize that. It's the same for us. So we need to be qualified to be used for as God's instruments for God's purpose. Meishu-sama stated, paradise, the foundation of paradise already exists in heaven. And this materialization happens accordingly. And for that purpose, he created the prototypes of paradise, so we can have an idea how is paradise. And we have the sacred grounds in Hakone, in Atami, in Kyoto, in Japan. We have in Guarapiranga, Brazil, in Sadaburi, Thailand, and the one that is under construction, which is the sacred ground of Kakwaku in Angola, Africa. When you visit the sacred grounds, you are enchanted by the beauty of the gardens. It is flowers everywhere. It's just breathtaking. There's so much art and happy faces, happy people. You find these kind of places elsewhere too. You have public gardens, they are great. You have art museums, they are fantastic. But what is the difference then between our sacred grounds and these other magnificent places? Why Meishu-sama put so much emphasis, effort? If a prototype was not needed, he would teach us just Johrei is enough. But no, we had to put into form and beauty. It is the form that is created, but our sacred grounds are filled with energy, filled with light, and that's the major difference. And this energy, this light, is not just a coincidence. It's not that the directors, the executive directors of our movement then picked, okay, let's build a sacred grounds on this side. It is the sum of the efforts, of the dedication of so many people. I have shared in one of our services here, because when you go with a group of members to the sacred grounds and you say, I want to volunteer, and our group is comprised of 20 people, and then they will find something for us to feel useful, to feel that we can put our energy on. And in many cases, while the sacred grounds was almost ready to be inaugurated, and I will be talking about the sacred grounds of Guarapiranga, Brazil. I was there a few days prior to the dedication in 1995. So with a group of other members, we were planting grass in this area. Was near the reservoir over there. And if you would hire a professional, a landscaper, a, a company, they could do it very professionally. They can bring their own team and make a very decent job. But once you paid for that kind of service, where is the energy? What is more important? So to organize a team of volunteers, and we are talking about people of all different ages. You have people on their 80s. You have kids that are just 4 or 5 years old, but everybody is showing that motivation. I want to participate. I want to make my contribution. So I made about the example of lawn, right? Or so they organize this line, and people will be passing. Okay, so this had to reach few yards over there. So can you please pass to the person next to you, and so on. So that's some of that energy. Seems to be just a token participation, but that's what is permeating in our sacred grounds, and is also most amazing, because our purpose is our sacred grounds. We say our sacred grounds that because we put our love and effort in so many ways, it is not for the enjoyment of Johrei members only. On the contrary, it's to be open to the public in so many sacred grounds. So there are so many opportunities for visitors. I shared also in one of our services here. Actually, somebody sent me this link, which was very interesting. There is a YouTuber, and he has a few thousand subscribers, I believe maybe 3,000, something like that. And he considers himself an atheist. And because he has a relative that is a Johrei member, so the relative invited him, oh, let's go to the sacred grounds of Guarapiranga. Spend a Sunday over there, so you can see, nature, you can see trees, you can see birds and flowers and whatnot. I said, sure, yeah. And then he decided to make this video, because he said, look, all these other religious, especially staff. He talked about there are pastors, there are monks, or other people that their sole concern is to use the members' donation for their own self-profit. But then I said, that's the right way to apply one's donation. Look what the Johrei movement is doing. A fantastic job. And then he said, I could go there with my family, spend the whole day. Was wonderful. Didn't have to pay anything, was open to the public. And so he was praising so much. And that was very good, because he's a neutral person. Not like a Johrei member talking wonders about what the sacred grounds is. It's somebody that even claims to be an atheist, but that's the right way, that according to him. So that was very significant. And again, that's what we believe what makes a place to be considered a sacred ground by us. Has to have all these elements, has to have a lot of nature, has to have a lot of beauty, but a lot of energy from the love of so many people. Now, there are so many that may be watching this service right now that haven't had the chance to visit sacred grounds yet in Japan, in Thailand, in Brazil, or in Africa. Then it is important that we realize that each Johrei that I give, each Johrei that I receive, is my contribution toward the construction of paradise on earth. And then that will also open the doors that maybe someday I will be able to visit them. And for those sacred grounds that have already been completed, let's say Hakone and Atami, they are all completed. So, but when we go over there, so we have a chance to work in the garden, beautify a little bit. So we are not actually quote unquote constructing something, but still we are in this continuum of participating and putting our energy. And but there's Kyoto and other sacred grounds. There are so many aspects of this sacred ground that it will still flourish, it still will make it grand, will make it even great than what they are right now. And to finalize the part of the teaching we heard today, it is important to strengthen the power of one's primary spirit in order to conquer negativity. Each person should strive always to strengthen this power of the primary spirit, and the best way to achieve this is to pray to God and deepens one's faith. This is the only path to attain true happiness. So Johrei is like when you, let me compare with a car. You may have a great car, beautiful, comfortable, great engine, has all many features. If you forgot your key, you cannot open the door, you cannot start the engine, right? So when we pray to God first, pray to God, please allow me to be served as an instrument to this person in front of me so I can give joy. So that's the ignition key. It's like I'm opening the door and I'm starting the engine. Without this, nothing will be flowing. We see in teachings talking about that because there were people that once they receive a request, oh, can you give joy to this person? They go right away. So no prayer, nothing, and they don't feel anything, and the person receiving also, well, somebody was raising the hand in front of me, I didn't feel anything, and there were kind of no results. And why was that? Johrei is supposed to work all the time. Well, because it was the lack of prayer. It's like we forgot the ignition key. So that's why when we start each and every Johrei session, we put our hands together. What we are thinking, please allow me to serve as an instrument. If I'm going to be utilized at that moment or not, I don't know. But at least I'm making my humble request that I'm here to serve. Please use me. And I believe that with that kind of prayer, the light will flow through us for the benefit of the person that we are trying to help. This is what I would like to share with you today. Again, congratulations, it's paradise on earth. Celebrate, let's have paradise in our own hearts so that it can manifest in our homes, in our work environment, in our neighborhood. And that's how paradise can finally be materialized in each and every corner of the earth, starting with me and spreading the light of love. And thank you very much. Have a very blessed evening, and with this concludes our evening.